It's Jay Meisel here with the week ahead Forex trading outlook for the week starting October 27, 2014. This is going to be an event-filled week starting this weekend with ECB stress test, then the Fed meeting results on Wednesday. We will deal with that before midweek. As far as the ECB stress tests go, what the talk was on Friday that as much as 25 banks could have failed one aspect. During the week there was talk of 18, we heard talk of 12. One thing to watch is how much capital is needed. A number I heard talked about was anything over 25 billion euros would be considered bearish, how much capital had to be raised. We'll see what that number comes out, so you got to look at the number, which, the rumored was 25, so that's kind of on the high side from what we heard earlier. We'll see if it comes in below that, and then we have the amount of capital. If you look at the price action in the last 2 days, it's been purely consolidation in relatively tight ranges for the euro, and that reflects caution ahead of the stress test. It's hard to even gauge what the market will open on Monday. It could gap depending on the results, but if it gaps to the upside, it's going to be considered relief more than anything else, and I doubt that side would follow through. But in any case, the market is, should take it in stride, but then again, the market never takes anything in stride in a big event, so we will have movement. Let's just look at the charts and see what they show. This was a key week. This uptrend line, as you can see right here in the daily chart, was broken. We started a downtrend line, but only if we can get through that 125 low would that really revive the downtrend. So we're going to have, if you look here, I drew this line here is 126.09. We got down to 126.14. So that is your key support. There's some support below 125.80 and down to that 125 level. Only above 127. And here's the level. I'll give you a level you can look at for the week ahead. It's the weekly pivot. It worked out pretty well this past week. This time it comes out at 127.07. So mark that down for your weekly pivot. If we stay below it, then we'll consider a negative bias. If we get back of it, maybe we'll get some neutral, but only through. We'll look at other charts. Only really on through 127.50 would shift the focus away from that 125 level and put it back on 128. But I think if you look at it at a broader range, and a range I've been talking about since even when it was going up last week, 125 to 1.29 is the range, and for now, and if that's the range, that 127 is your midpoint. So once again, along with the daily pivot, the weekly pivot, and 127, that for me will set the bias going forward. Otherwise, overall, the market remains bearish on the euro. The question seems when, not if, it'll make another leg down. But in the interim, we have to get through the Fed meeting, where is going to be some caution because they could be dovish. They will be dovish, and dovish means leaving in that considerable time to raise rates sentence. So if that's the case, maybe for the first half of the week we have some caution once we get through the ECB stress test. If you look at the 4-hour chart, we touched this 100-hour moving average, which is kind of on the flat line. It comes in just now about 126.90 towards the close. That's a level you can watch on the upside if you're looking for a level. The downside is pretty obvious at 126.09 to 14 now, 120 around 125.80, and then 125 the figure. So those are your levels on the key levels on the downside. And the reason I say key levels is because any level that might have a stop, but this is the major one at 125. Only through there would suggest another a leg down. And as I said, we, along with most people, are looking for the euro to trade lower this year. The question is timing. Do we have to wait until next year to start it, or are we going to have another run towards the end of this year? If you look now in the 1 month, the 1 hour, that's another one to watch. And this is more important. I think the 100-hour moving average. The other one was the 4-hour moving average. And this one comes in just below 127. So I would use the 100-hour moving average, Friday's high at 126.95, and I said 127, the figure which is the midpoint 127.07, which is the weekly pivot, as my initial resistance levels. On the downside, there is still an uptrend line here, not one I would play too hard, but it does come in at 126.44 on Monday. So anyway, to sum it up, we got the ECB meeting, the stress test, and we expect a choppy opening to the week, depending on how they come in at 1100 GMT on Sunday. How they come out will dictate it, but if not, then the market will quickly shift focus to the FOMC meeting, and there the debate is how dovish they will be. So that's it. One more thing, by the way, I'm putting a link in here. I just added my 21st trading tip. I suggest you click on it. It's embedded. I have 21 trading tips, or 21 trading strategies that everyone can use in everyday trading. So I'm including this in here. We have to just click on this link. It's embedded in this video. So good luck and good trading.